Hey guys, this is Sparkplus Ultra here, and this is part 3 on what if Deku had Usagi abilities. Never strike first. And I hope you like this video and hope you subscribe. The next day, Deku and all of Class 1A were in the classroom, and were sitting in the seats and waiting on the next class. Then the door opened, and a figure says, "Don't worry, hey guys, I am here!" All Might comes out of the door, walking like a true hero! And all of them were excited, and Deku was honestly happy to see All Might and wanting to meet him in person. And then All Might says, "Alright, young heroes, it's time for our next training. It is going to be with your hero gears." And all the class were excited to have their hero gears and also have to use them. And then all of Class 1A gets into their hero gears. And obviously, all of the hero gears are in the same way except for Deku. Deku has, well, in this version of Deku, he sports a version of a Ronin style samurai gear and with chainmail under it as well, having light footwork of modified Penkiki shoes and making him more of a at his pace and more standard to a traditional Ronin. And Asta says, better get my other weapons as well. And Asta carries two different types of sword, one being the Oni Katana and the Tonto, both made for close quarters combat swordplay. And he also grabs a bow made for long-range shot, and he grabs a grapple hook. Asta gets prepared to get in and do what he has to do. And Asta then remembers what both Azawa and the Rat Master says. Always use one's weapon to help your odds against you. And Deku says, "Alright, let's do this." And Deku comes out looking like one of the most awesome looking Ronin samurais out there, with a marking of the Raiden symbols, or if you want the Japanese term, Raijun, because, well, Raiden is based off of, well, the English term for Raiju, or Raiju. So, there's your Japanese knowledge there, if you don't remember. And then Ochaka was amazed on Deku looking like a very skilled rabbit Ronin. And Asta was laughing it off a bit. Then All Might explains the rules about how they're gonna be doing Hero Team versus Villain Team. The Hero Team are gonna stop the villain's weapon, and the Villain Team are gonna stop the Hero Team from doing that. And All Might pulls and finds what teams they're gonna be end up with. Deku and Ochako were end up teamed up as Hero Team, and Bakugo and Ida are Villain Team, as in canon. And Deku was honestly thinking to himself, this fight is gonna be a heavy, quite literally got used to indoors close quarters. Deku is honestly excited to test out his other fighting styles, but he doesn't want to go all in boost of, well, can of whoop ass. And then Ochako and Deku come up with a plan to get in. Deku thinks of a simple but a effective plan, and not using his ninjutsu of lock picking, but a other way around it, because lock picking a door that is fortified like that will be hard to do. So they go to a window, and Deku then uses a ninjutsu weapon called a cat claw that could climb up on any type of surface wall with little hinges, and Ojako could fly up, use her gravity to float up and get up there. And Suki says, "There, I'm almost up there, Ojako." And Ojako says, "Wow, you're pretty dirt. How much training did you put in?" Suki says, "Hey, samurai will only tell if I can trust them." Yeah. And Ochako laughs a bit, and Zuki says, "Why are you laughing?" And Ochako says, "You know you could use me to float you up." And Zuki was thinking about that. Nah, I don't want to use others that much to any advantage, but if I need your help, I'll help anytime with you. And Ochako laughs a bit on what Suki says, and Ochako says, "Wow, you're really very honest, aren't you?" And then Suki says, "I'm very, very much of a honest guy. What can I say?" And Ochako smiles at Suki on what he's doing. And Suki says, "Alright, we're here. We found the window." And Suki then pushes up the window with his hand and says, "In there, Ochako." And Ochako says, "Alright." And that flies in there. And Suki climbs all the way up there and gets in. Whew! I haven't even used these for a while. The only time I actually use these is when I'm in stealth missions like this. Then Ochako says, "Wait, stealth missions?" And Suki then says, "Oh, right, I was trained under ninjutsu." And Ochako says, "Wait, ninjutsu? Aren't you a samurai?" And Suki says, "Well, technically I'm a ronin, a samurai with no master." And Ochako then puts one to one together. Wait, that means you're a ninja marai. And Suki says, "Huh? What?" And Ochako says, "You're a ninja and a samurai, so it makes perfect sense, right?" And Suki then thinks, "You're not wrong. I guess you can call a ninja marai." And Ochako says, Nah, I don't think many would figure it out that quickly, but I think a ronin rabbit would suit you best." And Suki says, "Thanks, but we need to be careful." Suki and Ochako sneak in the building, taking different steps of being careful and watching out for Bakugo and Ida. And Suki then has a mirror, checking around, and says, "All clear." And Ochako says, "Wow, you're very versatile with your gear, aren't you?" And Izuki says, "Of course, in ninjutsu we literally train to learn every weapon we can come across. You think samurai weapons are limited to bows, spears, knives, and swords sometimes." And then Ochako says, "Oh, I thought samurai usually use swords." And Suki looks at her and says, "No, samurai must use spears and the longbow, mostly because of horseback riding." And Ochako says, "But the movies..." And Suki then looks at her. "Yeah, I know what you're thinking, but that's a common myth." And Ochako says, "Oh, sorry about that." And Suki says, "Oh, it's fine. It's common misconception." And when Suki and Ochako had a very good back and forth talk, Suki takes a few stances of preparation to make sure to light in any direction. And Ochako takes Suki's method and keeps an eye out. And then Suki says, "Man, I remember dealing with that Bakugo guy. He's more scary than any other person I fought." And then Ochako says, is it really that bad? Zuki looks at her. You never faced him in the dark. He could somehow sense me. How? Zuki got panicked a bit on how Bakugo did that, but Ochako says, it's not that. I don't think he could sense you. And Zuki says, oh, he sensed. I know. I see what he did. And Ochako says, aren't you getting too apathetic about that? Hypothetic about that? And Suki says, Ochako, when you look at my eyes, in my perception, you see more crazy shit now. And Ochako was honestly confused, but then when they got to the next stairs, a grenade goes on the ground, falling to the stairs. And Suki says, grenade! And uses the grapple hook and pulls both of them away from it and escaping the grenade. And Bakugo says, ha! I knew you were somewhere here. And Suki says, did you really need to pull out a grenade on us? And Bakugo says, shut up, happy feet. I'm gonna make minced meat out of you. And Suki was honestly looking at him with a look of, oh, he's honestly in the top tier of gonna get what he's coming for. Suki tells Ochako to go ahead before him because this is me, Zuki, and him, and Ochako does so. And Zuki looks at Bakugo, and he looks at his equipment. Gauntlets, probably made for long-range storage for something. And then looks at the grenade. Ugh, that was frightening. It's a good defense at melee, and somewhat covers long range. He stores up some sweat. This is going to be challenging. And then Bakugo says, here I come! And charges at the Ronin Samurai. And then Suki looks at Bakugo and puts his hand on his sword and waits. And Suki says, I only need a few seconds. That's all I need. Then everything gone silent. Suki's mind. And Bakugo coming forth to go and hit Zuki with an explosive attack. And Zuki then takes a deep breath. Rin, Sho, To, Shin, It. And then he says those words. And he has a flashback. These words are for specifics to calm the person's mind. And Zuki remembers the Rat Master technique. Rin, To, Shin, Ritsu, To. And then Zuki takes a deep breath and slashes at Bakugo. And Bakugo sees that and blocks it with its gauntlet, but it pushes him back from the force that Suki did. And then Suki grabs his grapple hook and entangles Bakugo's arm and pulls him back. And then Bakugo says, oh shit! No! And Suki says, whew, I gotta tie you up. And he ties up Bakugo. Bakugo says, I barely even react to that. And Zuki says, I figured you would do that, so I calmed my mind for a bit. It helped. I figured out that you hesitated for that moment. Bakugo says, stupid rabbit! And Suki says, sorry about that, putting a hand sign, apologizing, and goes to Ochako. And Ochako tells Suki where the bomb is, and he follows. And then Suki sees Ida, and both Ochako and Suki team up on Ida, and Suki's creativity on using his weapons or his tools, with Ochako helping out with some keeping Ida from figuring those out, gets them a win. And All Might says, the hero team wins! And Zuki says, not bad. And Ochako then says, way to go, Ninja Marai! And Suki chuckles on what Ochako and Zuko got the MVP for making the fight quickly done with Bakugo, and also making a good team up with Ochaka. And that's where I'm ending this video. I hope you liked this video and hope you subscribe. See you next time.